What's up, guys? So we have another destroyer overview. This will be the last of the bunch, at least for right now. And then what'll happen is if anything changes, I'll either update the description or re-release a video letting you guys know, hey, this is what the destroyer is like now. This one is going to be for the Yugumo, and do I have a lot to say about this one? As of the last test, I'm going to come out and say it, just plain right from the get-go. The Yugumo was useless. They did a stealth nerf. They didn't tell anybody about it, and well, I'm hoping it was a glitch. But the thing is, usually if there's a glitch, we're told like it's fixed by the next test. Like there was a glitch, and I forget what was happening, but it was fixed as soon as the next testing phase happened. The Yugumo was like this the entire weekend, which leads me to believe that they did a stealth nerf on it, and I really do hope they walk this back. I'm going to start off with the dev blog. I'm not going to tell you what it was because we'll get into it with the dev blog and within the in-game stuff. The Yugumo is... So according to the dev blog, the Yugumo is actually not necessarily it's not necessarily like a fighting ship, if that makes sense. It's more of a support vessel, right? The dev blog mentions that it has a lower silhouette than the other ships, which I'll actually talk about later. It also mentions 52,000 horsepower, although the top speed is only 35 knots, according to dev blog. And the dev blog, well, I guess we're going to end up talking about the stealth nerf now. If you're reading the dev blog, you'll notice it says, oh, it has... where is it? Hold on. If you read the dev blog, it'll say that it has 627mm cannons. Yep, that's still there. That's correct. It's 3 dual-mounted cannons, so that's similar to the tribal right there. And then it also says that it has a combination of single, dual, and triple 25mm anti-aircraft cannons. Right. It also mentions that it has a yeah, so that's what it says, right? This was the case. In fact, this destroyer was probably the best destroyer for protecting your fleet from anti-air. I remember in previous tests, and when I was running with a squad, we would usually have one player use the Japanese ship because he could so effectively protect you from air raids. It was a huge deterrent. It had a good place in the game like that. They removed most of the cannons. At this point, it only has 2 dual 25mm cannons, so that's a total of 4 25mm cannons. This is now the weakest anti-air armament of any destroyer. In fact, this anti-air armament is so weak that it's on the level of like PT boats. Like there are PT boats that, in my mind, have better anti-air capabilities than this ship right now. That says how bad that this nerf was. I really do hope they revert it back. So other than that, we have 8 torpedoes, which is actually pretty decent. They're also a little bit larger than the torpedoes on other nations. However, we only have HE rounds, which... If you watched my HE versus AP video, this isn't as bad as I originally thought it was. I thought that HE used to be, like, in my eyes, HE was useless, AP was good. Although, this recent test, I've learned it's a bit different and a little more complex than I thought. And so the HE rounds, having only HE isn't so bad, but do know that you're going to be playing against the enemy's crew versus looking to take out their modules. So if you are a person who enjoys taking out modules, like that's your gunnery style, right, which I'll have to talk about more in a later video, then this may not be the right destroyer for you. However, if you're somebody who just wants to saturate the enemy ship with fire, light them on fire, and take out their crew, this is a decent ship. So back to the shells, they have 911 meters a second velocity, which is actually pretty good. 1.88 explosive filler, which is there's other nations that have better, and 23 millimeters of pen. Other than that, the maximum speed I got it to go, I think, was 32 knots. I'll review the footage, and if I see that it was higher, I'll say so. And remember, that was just in a quote-unquote realistic setting, not necessarily me trying to go in a straight line forever. And it's a 3.7 BR rank 3. As far as the ship feels, I kind of already have made my feelings clear in that, as of the most recent test, this ship is not even worth playing. Um, it just is weaker to the other ships in that you don't have AP, so your main armament is limited to one gunnery style, if that makes sense. You can't like go for magazine kills or anything of that nature. You just have to whittle their crew down. The other thing that that really hinders this destroyer is its AA armament is so weak now, and that was where it was powerful previously. At this point, the AA armament is almost a joke. The last thing that I would say about the destroyer is that it does feel like, and I've always thought this destroyer felt the most survivable. Oddly enough, like it felt like it took hits better or something of that nature, and I think maybe that has to do with its low silhouette that the dev blog mentioned. That could be very possible, because I've always wondered if it just had the highest armor belt or something. I don't know, but it has felt like it could take a beating. But just as of the recent test with the nerf to the AA, I mean, I really felt like this destroyer's purpose was to cover the fleet from air attacks, and not having that anymore just makes it not worth it, in my opinion, especially when you've got other destroyers with such a more powerful main armament. Yeah. So as far as it plays, I do feel like maybe that lower, the smaller target makes it slightly more survivable, but I feel like its main armament is lacking AP shells, which can cause some problems. And I feel like it's not stellar to begin with, and then its secondary armament is so bad that I just can't see this being a viable destroyer in its current state. I really do hope they return it to what it used to be. Other than that, though, I don't know. If they return it back to its old AA, then it will have a place in War Thunder simply as a ship to protect the fleet from air attacks, and that's a valuable role. It's a good support role. It, to me, plays the same as like an SPAA. You know, you're not going in there for glory, but you're going in there to keep your team alive. So yeah, I hope they revert the change they made this test in terms of its AA, and if they do, this will be a much better destroyer. But as of the current state, it just feels real bad. Anyway, guys, that's the last of the destroyer overviews. I will be uploading more videos every day. I'm trying to build a backlog. This is the third video I've edited tonight, so just trying to build a little bit of a backlog to give myself a buffer so that I do consistently get videos to you guys on time. And yeah, the PC build's coming along nicely. The desk build is coming on nicely. Hopefully we'll be streaming again shortly. Thanks everybody for watching, and hope to see you guys in the Discord or on Snapchat. Cheers, everyone.
Thank you.